There are fears a monster shark measuring more than 5 metres is lurking off North Stradbroke Island in Queensland.
What the hell was that?
Oh, looks like she's coming up. She's coming up. Holy. She's massive.
That is a huge shark.
We've all heard of the biggest and meanest sharks, the great white, the tiger shark, but there are plenty of other sharp-toothed predators lurking in our oceans. It's time to get familiar with some of these lesser-known yet equally dangerous sharks. From a shark species that whips its tail to smash prey to an aggressive new monster shark that targets large great whites, here are 20 of the rarest and deadliest sharks you don't want to encounter. Number 20. Mega mouth shark. If you were under the misguided belief that all sharks were essentially the same kind of big mouth nightmares, well then, I'm sorry to have to break it to you, but you're quite wrong, my friend. There's a particular species of shark that's so revoltingly terrifying in the facial hull department that you may never sleep again now that you've seen it. Oh, sorry about that. Although this monstrous sea creature is all things terrifying, it's also mercifully rare. In fact, this hideous beast has actually only been spotted less than 100 times ever since it was first discovered. Anyway, these megamouth sharks live in deep waters, which is one of the reasons that we human scaredy cats rarely come into contact with them. But they do occasionally get themselves caught up with fishing gear, like this one that was caught by a group of fishermen off the coast of Owa's port in Japan's Mie Prefecture in the middle of the mainland. Luckily for us, the fishermen took some video of their crazy catch, so we can all enjoy more accurate and vivid nightmares together. They reckon that the massive creature was around 16.5 feet long and weighed about a ton. That's a sizable bad dream right there, everyone. Number 19. The blue shark. With big, round, staring eyes and a permanently gormless expression, these sharks have a strange, almost unreal appearance. But that doesn't mean the blue shark isn't a formidable predator nonetheless. These sharks often grow up to 9 or even 10 feet in length, but they do tend to eat smaller prey like fish and squid, often in deeper waters where they find an abundance of these sorts of snacks. The blue shark is a migratory animal, traveling across entire oceans many times over the course of its life in search of resources and for mating purposes. When they do find a mate, things can get a little bit aggressive. The male blue shark will often bite the female during mating, so female blue sharks have developed extra thick skin to prevent themselves from being injured during all the rumpy-bumpy. These sharks are found all over the world. In fact, they have the widest distribution of any species of shark, and although it's relatively rare, there are a few recorded incidents of them biting humans. But more often than not, this is usually an accident, and sharks in general are just curiously tasting rather than planning to scoff down an entire human. So that's wonderfully reassuring. You might just make it out alive with a little nibble missing. Number 18. The great white shark. You're going to need a bigger boat. The first sea monsters on our list, although bigger, are like harmless baby birds compared to the blood-chillingly dangerous great white shark. It was a great white shark that stalked the coastline in the famous 1975 movie Jaws, and this really is one massive and terrifying sea monster. The great white is a purpose-built killing machine, with so many adaptations and features designed to make it one of the most efficient hunters on the planet. They have 3 rows of viciously sharp teeth, about 300 in total, and it seems that as many as half of all shark attacks on humans in the world could be attributed to the great white. Although these sharks may not always be out to kill the humans that they nibble on, it's hard to tell if a shark has good intentions or not. Some scientists have suggested that the shark is merely curious and taking a sample taste of a human, but then discards them when it realizes it's not really what it was looking for. That's not too comforting for the victim, though. The sheer size and enthusiasm of the bite mean that great white snack-sized nibbles are fatal anyway. Eek. Number 17. Angel shark. The angel shark is an extremely rare species of shark, which looks more like a stingray than it does a shark. It was previously found almost exclusively in the waters off the coast of the Canary Islands, but has recently found a new home in the coastal seas around Wales in the United Kingdom. The angel shark's body is broad and flat, allowing it to hang around on the ocean floor and bury itself in the sand or mud, just waiting for any unsuspecting prey to venture too close. These sharks are believed to have evolved quite differently from other species, and scientists think the angel shark is pretty ancient and could hold the key to understanding some previously unknown aspects of the evolutionary process. Although these sharks were once so very common that they were actually used as fishing bait, they're now rare in our seas and have been given the unenviable classification of critically endangered. There's now a project underway in Wales to try and establish just how many of these creatures still exist and what their migration and breeding habits might be. Number 16. Thresher shark. There are lots of things you need to worry about with sharks, but those things are usually at the front end and basically all contained inside of their mouths. The thresher shark, though, is pretty different. These things are equally dangerous at both ends. The thresher shark has a unique feature that makes it a deadly hunter: its tail. Unlike regular shark tails, the thresher has an especially long, whip-like tail that it uses to kill its prey. It has an especially ruthless technique that involves swimming at high speed toward its prospective dinner, pulling up really fast, and whipping its tail from behind, over its head, and down onto its prey. They can whip their tails at up to 80 miles an hour, so that kind of gives you an idea just how very deadly the shark can be. The result of such force on a fish. Well, that thing makes a really big mess. Stuff more or less explodes out of everywhere. Swim bladders rupture, spines shatter, and bits and pieces float about all over the place. The thresher shark will then swim around in a casual manner, as if perusing a buffet table and sampling all of the different dishes. Now it's time for today's topic. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, marine biologists have been tracking a massive great white shark known as Titan, one of the largest ever recorded. But then, Titan's tracking signal vanished without a trace, leaving researchers puzzled. For weeks, the mystery loomed until an unexpected discovery stunned the scientific community. Titan's mangled remains were found on the ocean floor, surrounded by peculiar bite marks far too large for any known predator. Investigators were baffled, and theories began circulating. Could another giant great white have attacked Titan? Or was there something even larger lurking in the ocean's depths? Equipped with underwater drones and sonar, researchers combed the area. Then, their cameras captured something incredible, a monstrous shark, much larger than any ever recorded, with strange mutations on its body, likely caused by deep-sea radiation exposure or other environmental factors. This mutant leviathan, as they called it, was a relic of a forgotten era, growing to colossal proportions in the ocean's unexplored regions. The discovery not only solved the mystery of Titan's demise, but raised new questions about what else lies hidden in the deep. As scientists continue to study this creature, the legend of the mutant great white reminds us that the ocean's darkest secrets may still be waiting to surface. Number 15. Blacktip shark. Blacktip sharks are extremely common, medium-sized sharks that are named for their black-tipped fins. Duh. These sharks can be found living in coastal waters that are close to beaches, in coral reefs, and in estuaries and bays. As a migratory species, they tend to hang around in groups and travel together in groups of females or males. Despite the fact that there are so many of these sharks, they're at risk of overfishing and accidental capture because of the places they choose to frequent. These sharks are actually fished commercially, and their meat is popular in the markets of America, Mexico, and the Mediterranean, while the fins are sold in East Asia. In the United States and Mexico, the sharks are doubly in trouble because they're not only caught for commercial purposes, but they're also popular among recreational fishing enthusiasts who like to go shark fishing for fun. So, sometimes it can be a tough life being a shark. It's not all about swimming around and biting things, you know. Number 14. Angular rough shark. Well, knock me down with a feather. This is a shark that I've never heard of, and that's despite the fact that we at the Fancy Banana absolutely love a good shark video. You know we can't get enough of these creatures. The angular rough shark is an interestingly shaped shark with strange knobs all over its eyes that are covered in dermal denticles. Those are miniature, tooth-like scales that cover the skin. These guys are not the biggest. They average about 3.5 feet long, but they have been recorded at lengths of almost up to 5 feet. The sharks are bottom feeders, and their preferred diet includes worms, crustaceans, and mollusks. These sharks don't pose any kind of threat to humans whatsoever, so stop being such scaredy pants. This one won't give you nightmares. Number 13. Goblin shark. The deep-sea dwelling goblin shark is like a nightmare combination of a frightening alien face and a squashed dinosaur shark. It's actually pretty horrific, but I shouldn't judge something on its appearance. I know that's not really fair. So, are these guys as scary as they look? Well, let's find out. With a long snout on the top and a set of very sharp teeth on the bottom, this shark seems equipped enough to do some predatory stuff. Its snout, known as a rostrum, is packed with special sensory organs that allow the goblin shark to detect even the faintest electrical signals emitted by prey. This adaptation is especially useful in the pitch-black depths of the ocean, where vision is limited. Unlike most sharks, which use speed to ambush their prey, the goblin shark relies on its stealth and surprise, lurking near the ocean floor until something swims by. Its pinkish color is due to visible blood vessels beneath its translucent skin, adding to its eerie, ghostly appearance. With jaws that can shoot forward nearly the length of their snout, goblin sharks have one of the fastest jaw protrusions of any fish, giving them an extra advantage when catching unsuspecting prey. It has a weird technique for catching its prey. The goblin shark can eject its jaws and send them out in a dangerous snapping motion to grab passing prey, then reel its jaws back in and gobble up its catch. Oh, spooky! This long-nosed shark is actually, and mercifully, much lazier than many other sharks. Its sluggish behavior means it's not likely to expend much energy in a high-speed pursuit. And given one look at this freaky fish, no doubt you'd be able to outswim it on fear alone. I'm glad that one's finished. These guys give me the creeps. Number 12. Shortfin mako shark. The large, predatory shortfin mako shark grows to around 12 feet in length and can weigh up to 1,200 pounds. These are the fastest sharks in the ocean, clocking speeds of up to 45 miles per hour. As well as the super speed, the shark is also a bit of an athlete in general. The shortfin mako shark can often be observed taking giant leaps out of the water when they're hunting. They also have a special ability called a countercurrent exchanger, which basically means that they can maintain a body temperature higher than the water that surrounds them. This skill gives them a big advantage when hunting in chillier waters, as they can move around with more speed and intelligence. Although they don't generally present much risk to humans, there are a few recorded incidents where these sharks have bitten and killed people. Usually, though, it's not a case of the mako being especially hungry for human flesh, but rather a case of mistaken identity or even accidental bites. The shortfin mako shark really prefers a diet of bony fish, and they're also partial to squid, small marine mammals, and sea turtles. So, don't go freaking out too much about them. Number 11. Basking shark. Some of the ocean's gentle giants, basking sharks are the second biggest sharks in the world. Only whale sharks are larger. The basking shark eats only plankton and catches this prey in a particularly unique and, frankly, weird-looking way. Its gargantuan mouth can open up to 1 meter wide, giving the creature a funny, permanently surprised sort of expression. As well as being a monster-sized 40 feet long and weighing a hefty 10,000 pounds. This supersized shark has some other unusual features. Their livers make up a colossal 25% of their body weight. What does a basking shark need such a big liver for exactly? Well, the shark's liver is stuffed full of a substance called squalene, which is what helps to keep the shark afloat. Weird. The special filtration system that a basking shark uses to catch its food is also pretty unique. It filters up to 4 million pounds of water an hour, capturing tiny plankton and separating them from the water. It then closes its massive mouth to pump the water out again through its gills. That's a totally jawsome talent right there. Who knows, perhaps this shark will give you nightmares. Number 10. Horn shark. Horn sharks are also known as California horn sharks, and they have short and rather blunt heads with large fin spines, specifically, the ones that give them their name. They're two extremely prominent dorsal fin spines. They can be found in subtropical waters from central California to Ecuador and Peru. The nocturnal horn shark is also a slow and solitary creature, preferring to spend its nights meandering along the bottom of the ocean in search of prey. They live in kelp beds, sand flats, and deep crevices on the seabed, feeding on small fishes and invertebrates like crabs, sea urchins, and mollusks. During the day, they tend to hide out in the same resting place, usually a nice, gloomy cave, cavern, or crevice. Although they're kind of weird to look at, and I guess that might give you nightmares if you're of an especially nervous disposition, horn sharks are not really a terrible menace to humans. If you poke them, they might bite your finger, but frankly, if you poke me, I might do the same thing. Otherwise, the biggest risk posed by these particular sharks is their spines and fins, which can cause a nasty puncture wound. So the best advice is to just avoid prodding, or indeed absent-mindedly stepping on a horn shark, and you'll probably be just fine. Number 9. Bamboo shark. Another slow-moving bottom dweller, the bamboo shark is a pretty rare creature. Also known as the long-tail carpet shark, these sharks have, guess what, really long tails. Thrilling stuff, I know. Although they're a very small species of shark, an adult generally grows to a maximum of about 37 inches, with tails considerably longer than their stubby little bodies. They're so diminutive in stature that these little sharks are a popular choice among aquarium enthusiasts worldwide. There are very few species of shark that stay small enough to live in domestic aquariums, but the bamboo shark is considered the perfect variety among those in the know. Interestingly, bamboo sharks have a unique ability to survive out of water for brief periods, allowing them to navigate between tidal pools or even walk on land during low tides. This adaptation makes them well suited for the shallow, rocky reefs and coastal waters they inhabit. They're known to be nocturnal hunters, preferring to forage for small fish, crustaceans, and worms under the cover of darkness. Their small, blunt teeth are perfect for crushing hard shells, making them efficient little predators despite their size. In captivity, bamboo sharks are often noted for their calm temperament, which has made them popular in touch tanks at aquariums. However, they are kind of rare in the wild, so there's actually a limited amount of information on their habits, and even their conservation status is a bit unclear due to insufficient data. Number 8. The hammerhead shark. The truly weird and wonderful shape of the unique hammerhead shark may seem like something straight from a fantasy novel, but these awesome creatures are adapted to find food in the most efficient and highly specialized way you could imagine. That's right, their massive mallet-shaped noggin is actually a big food scanner. The hammerhead shark is not only able to see a broader area thanks to its extremely wide-set eyes, but its actual head is essentially a food detector. Inside that oddly shaped bounce is a whole collection of sensory organs called the ampullae of Lorenzini. This set of clever organs can detect the electrical fields created by prey animals and is especially well attuned to its favorite dinner, the stingray. In addition to their incredible sensory abilities, hammerheads have excellent maneuverability, allowing them to make sharp turns and swoop down on prey with precision. Their heads also aid in pinning down stingrays to the ocean floor, giving them an advantage over their flat-bodied prey. Hammerheads tend to hunt in large groups, which is unusual for sharks and offers further support in catching difficult prey. Interestingly, these sharks use their wide heads to stabilize themselves in strong ocean currents, giving them an edge in a variety of environments. Unlike many other shark species, hammerheads are known for their social behavior and can often be seen swimming together in schools of up to 100 individuals. In all recorded instances, there have only been 17 unprovoked attacks by hammerheads on humans and 0 fatalities. These sharks are really somewhat fixated on hunting and eating stingrays, and they're not in the least bit interested in eating you, no offense though. Number 7. Bull shark. The bull shark, also known as the Zambezi shark, can often be found swimming about and eating people in rivers, yes, like the Zambezi River. What fun! As if the oceans weren't sharky enough, these ones have also decided they love to live in warm, shallow waters, not only along coasts but also in freshwater rivers and estuaries. Yes, the bull shark is not fussy about its habitat. It likes to swim a long way, so you never know quite where it might pop up next. Oh, and they're also notoriously aggressive. These sharks have been known to swim all the way up the Mississippi River as far as Alton, Illinois, 700 miles from the ocean. Bull sharks possess a unique physiological trait that allows them to regulate their salt levels, enabling them to thrive in both saltwater and freshwater environments. Unlike most sharks, which need saltwater to survive, bull sharks can adjust their kidneys to help them withstand freshwater for extended periods. Their muscular build and thick skin add to their resilience, making them some of the toughest predators in the water. With exceptional adaptability and tolerance for various water temperatures, bull sharks have even been known to inhabit lakes in Central America. This adaptability and aggressiveness make them a top predator in nearly any water they enter, often competing with alligators and crocodiles in estuaries. This news is not exactly reassuring when you find out that it's the bull shark, not the great white, that is responsible for almost all nearshore shark attacks. They're large, solid sharks with one of the fiercest bite forces among any kind of fish, and the scariest thing about the species is that they can be found just about anywhere, from the Ohio River to the Ganges, from Sydney Harbor to the Jersey Shore. I'm seriously reconsidering that canoeing vacation now, aren't you? Number 6. The frilled shark. The so-called living fossil is a scary, well, actually downright terrifying ancient species of shark that, although rare, is still out there menacing people from time to time with its intensely intimidating appearance and sharkish habits. Although there are apparently a few of these sharks still out there, sightings are so incredibly rare that only one has been captured alive in living memory. On one occasion, a particular specimen was pulled from the water near lake's entrance in Victoria, Australia, by a group of rather surprised fishermen. It was such an unusual occurrence that the story made headlines and captured imaginations all over the world. This super strange shark dates back at least 80 million years, so it has been kicking around in our waters for quite some time. It's no wonder it's known as a fossil. The frilled shark's body is eel-like, giving it an almost serpentine appearance, and it's known to move in a way that resembles a snake slithering through the water. Its jaw is filled with rows of needle-like teeth, angled backward to ensure that once prey is caught, escape is nearly impossible. Unlike many modern sharks, the frilled shark uses a unique ambush strategy, lunging at prey with an unexpected burst of speed from its otherwise sluggish demeanor. These sharks often inhabit depths of up to 5,000 feet, making encounters with humans exceedingly rare, which is probably for the best. Despite its frightening look, the frilled shark plays a crucial role in the deep-sea ecosystem, preying on squid, fish, and other ocean creatures that dwell in its dark domain. The name frilled shark is on account of this big old fish's 6 pairs of frilly gills. It looks a bit like it's sporting some kind of Elizabethan ruff, but with a much toothier edge than you'd find in most of those stuffy old portraits. Number 5. Nurse shark. Found on both the east and west coasts of the United States, the nurse shark is among the most docile of all shark species. These flat-headed, smooth-bodied sharks have a very long tail and barbels, those sensory whiskers that hang down from their chins, much like a catfish. These nocturnal hunters are really opportunistic carnivores and aren't fussy about what kind of creature comes their way. It all looks like food to them. Their hunting style is unusual. They tend to skulk along the bottom of the sea, barbels dangling to detect movement in the water. When they find something to eat, they cup their mouth over it and essentially vacuum it up. Not as scary or dramatic as other shark species and definitely a lot less gory, but effective nonetheless. These sharks spend most of their lives on the seabed, rummaging around in shallow, warm waters on reefs and coastal shelves at about 50 feet deep or less. They generally hang about in groups of anywhere between 2 and 40, and while they're not considered at risk for the moment, Everything in our seas is ultimately at risk as the composition of our oceans continues to change and temperatures shift. That's probably something that should give you legitimate nightmares, not these old soppy sharks. Number 4. Sand tiger shark. The sand tiger shark may look mean, but it's really a big cat. Well, actually it's still a shark, but it's pretty docile and not really considered a threat to humans. There are only a few recorded cases where a sand tiger shark has attacked a person, despite their super scary set of teeth and sinister eyes. Also, and this is a relief, the sand tiger shark is in no way related to the much scarier and more bite-prone tiger shark. Apart from also being sharks with a lot of teeth and scary eyes, they don't share a temperament or a taste for nibbling on human limbs, and for that, we can all indeed be most grateful. Sand tiger sharks are actually more at risk from humans than we are from them, as they are often targeted by fisheries due to their slow reproductive rate. Unlike many shark species, sand tiger sharks practice something called intrauterine cannibalism, where the strongest embryos eat the weaker ones in the womb, resulting in very few offspring per pregnancy. Their distinctive jagged teeth, which are perfectly adapted for gripping slippery fish, give them a constant menacing grin, but they're actually quite gentle around divers. Sand tiger sharks are also known for their unique ability to gulp air at the surface and store it in their stomachs, which helps them float motionlessly in the water. Conservationists are working to protect this species, as their numbers have been declining due to overfishing and habitat loss. Much like any other shark, if they do bite you, it's likely because they've mistaken you for something tastier like a fish or a crustacean. And frankly, they're not going to attempt to finish you off. That would be far too much work for something very undelicious indeed. Number 3. Requiem shark. The requiem shark actually includes several different species under its title, including the blacktip shark mentioned earlier, as well as a whole gaggle of other toothsome big fish like the gray reef shark, the silvertip reef shark, the whitetip reef shark, the sicklefin shark, and even the scalloped hammerhead. As well as incorporating the full rainbow of tip colorings, these sharks are grouped together because of their general habitat. They're sometimes also known as Red Sea requiem sharks, but in general, their preferred habitats are warmer seas. Often included in this list are the tiger shark and the bull shark, among others. These two alone give requiem sharks the rather unsavory title of being the group most likely to be involved in attacks on humans. They're savage and efficient hunters and are among the most well-adapted sea creatures when it comes to predatory skills. These are the top of the food chain, and even if they don't really like the taste of human meat, they'll probably take more than a tiny taste to decide that you're not the fish they were looking for. Then they'll likely just spit out the chewed-up remains of your decidedly untasty corpse, so you should probably watch where you go poking your toes, or any other delicate appendages, for that matter. Number 2. Greenland shark. Slow-moving Greenland sharks are rarely captured on film. They prefer the cold, deep waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic regions, so they don't land in people's boats like the more infamous sharks in warmer waters. However, these big guys are truly extraordinary. First of all, the Greenland shark is absolutely massive. These creatures can reach lengths of up to 24 feet and weigh as much as 3,100 pounds. This size is larger than any of the other sharks we've encountered so far, even the biggest of great whites. An apex predator, the Greenland shark mostly eats fish but has been known to indulge in the odd seal, moose, or even a polar bear. Interestingly, these sharks have a unique diet due to their habitat, and they are known to scavenge as much as they hunt, feeding on the remains of large animals that sink to the ocean floor. Their slow metabolism is a perfect adaptation for their cold environment, where food can be scarce and energy needs to be conserved. They're also equipped with sharp teeth that allow them to grip and tear through tough, frozen flesh, essential for survival in frigid waters. Greenland sharks have a toxic flesh due to high levels of trimethylamine oxide, which helps protect their tissues from freezing, but makes them dangerous to consume for humans. And as if their slow-moving, ghostly nature weren't enough, their eyes are often clouded due to a parasitic copepod that attaches itself to the cornea, potentially making them partially blind. Perhaps the most incredible thing about this shark is its lifespan. It has the longest lifespan of any vertebrate and can live for between 300 and 500 years. A study of this species in 2016 discovered a shark that had been born between 1504 and 1744, which is just mind-blowing. A shark that may have been born when Michelangelo was painting the Sistine Chapel is still alive and swimming today. No wonder these sharks move so slowly. They have all the time in the world. Number 1. Helicoprion. The scientists who have been trying to solve the puzzle of the bizarre creature known as the Helicoprion have been working away, only to discover some pieces were missing from the box, and they might never be able to see the whole picture. As frustrating as that might seem, It has made for some extremely creative and interesting interpretations based on the fragments of fossils unearthed from this creature. The name Helicoprion means spiral saw, and that's the main chunk of fossil they are working with. Paleontologists eventually deduced that the circular saw-like thing they had discovered was likely positioned in the mouth of this weird sea creature. They decided it was what they called a whorl-toothed ratfish, or a sort of shark. It's believed that this mystery creature first appeared in Earth's oceans about 280 million years ago, and hung around a while before finally going extinct sometime in the early Triassic period. Since no full-size complete skeletal fossils have ever been found, the ideas of how this creature may have looked are all from the best-informed imaginations. Do you have any ideas of where else this weird spiral saw might have been found and what purpose it served? Let us know your thoughts. Wow, that was a lot of new and terrifying info on the different kinds of sharks that might just mistake my leg for a tasty snack. Who knew there were so many? What did you think of these toothy ocean dwellers? Will any of them be haunting your dreams? As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Check out the other cool videos on the screen, and I'll see you next time.